Posted by you/crap kid throwaway. My best friend, Kate, is married to Bert, and I am married to Tim. Bert is not a good person. Historically, I have kept my opinions about Bert's behavior to a minimum because good friends share their perspective once and then support each other through difficult relationships. However, this time, I'm turning to internet strangers to be the judge. I'm traveling for work. Kate is stuck at home, working, at 7 months pregnant on modified bed rest. Generally, during the week, I drop by once or twice to bring her family some dinner. Tim cooks extra portions once a week to share, cheer her up, and read her oldest a couple of bedtime stories so that she can go to bed early and get some sleep. Bert works an office job. Stressful, I'm sure, but during her pregnancy, he's been working longer and longer hours, salaried, not overtime. She's been sad and a bit lonely. Yes, I've suggested counseling. With that background, this evening she and I were texting. It was about 6-ish, and she got a craving for a taco place near my house and, importantly, near Bert's office. She says she asked him to grab her some on his way home. He says he's not stopping. He's got work at home and she should just DoorDash something close. This makes her extremely sad, she says irrationally sad, but you be the judge, because he used to surprise her with her favorite tacos, and now he can't be bothered. As one does, I tell Tim. I'm 3 states away, so it was just part of our chat as I was getting back to the hotel and getting ready for a work dinner. I get back from dinner, and Tim had gone and picked her up tacos, remembered the bag of things I'd collected for her and the kid that were in my car, and pulled a tuna casserole from the freezer. Bert hates tuna casserole. He dropped them off on the porch and just texted her that there were some things I wanted her to have. Then Bert gets home. Did he bring tacos, coloring books, or a good attitude? No, he did not. He called Tim to tell him that he was a massive prick for showing him up. Other colorful language was also used, including some fairly sexist nonsense. He also texted me, telling me to keep my husband away from his wife. Tim did respond rudely when Bert called. Kate says he told Bert he was a failure as a human, a man, a father, and a husband. Apparently, that caused Bert to scream expletives so loud their daughter started to cry. Tim then hung up on Bert, blocked him, and texted Kate that if she needed someone in an emergency, she knew where to call, but he wasn't putting up with her trash husband any longer. It's a giant clusterflop, and I have no idea what's going to happen. My husband feels bad things escalated so much, particularly since their daughter was crying. He feels like a jerk at the moment. I think he's a sweet man. What do you guys think? Update 1 day later. Not a happy update. The TLDR version is that they are separating for unrelated reasons. This update is shared with Kate and Tim's permission. For reasons, Bert can go screw himself. Bert emailed Tim this morning to apologize. He said he had forgotten I was out of town and didn't realize Tim was dropping off the meal train food. It was a weird email for many reasons, but Tim responded politely, though noncommittally. Tim hasn't changed his view of Bert, partly because of what happened between Bert and Kate this afternoon. Bert also texted me to apologize, but I didn't see his message until after I landed, and by then, everything else had happened. I've chosen not to respond. Bert went home around noon after staying at a hotel last night. Kate's sister had taken their daughter to the park so Bert and Kate could talk things out. The short version is that Bert has been avoiding Kate because she's not happy during this pregnancy. I mentioned in a comment that Kate had been married previously, and shortly after her first husband passed away, she had complications in a pregnancy that forced her onto bed rest. Unfortunately, her son didn't survive. Her current pregnancy is bringing up a lot of painful memories, and she's scared she won't be able to carry to full term. So, yes, she's not as cheery as she was when she was pregnant with their daughter. It's a difficult time. Bert is frustrated and angry that she's not happy, so he's been staying late and ignoring her until she stops doing that. I know that sounds horrible, but I thought they could have worked through those feelings. However, as he was explaining how he felt, he said she should be glad her son wasn't there because otherwise, she wouldn't have this life at all. Yeah, that still knocks the wind out of me. It's so cruel. She did talk to him about that statement, but his explanation didn't make it any better. In any event, for her, that was the end. She told him she was done, they can work out joint custody, but the marriage was over. She called her sister, and she and her husband encouraged Bert to leave. Currently, Kate's not angry, sad, or panicked. She's just done. Personally, I'm surprised, since they've weathered some fairly crappy things, including infidelity, by him. But I guess that was the line? In any event, her D&D friends are over there for Saturday game night, and they are eating waffles. She thought it was important for the internet to know that waffles are appropriate separation food. In terms of her well-being, which many kind souls were worried about, they have a prenup. The house is hers, and his family property is his. I'm sure there will be a fight over custody, but she will be financially okay. In any event, she has family and friends who will help and support her regardless of what happens. Second update 1 month later. Holiday update. I guess whether you see this as a happy update depends on whether you consider jerks abandoning their kids to be a net positive or not. Kate and Bert are still separated. It took her a few weeks, but she finally spoke to her attorney and asked them to start the paperwork. One issue has been locating him for service and scheduling parenting time so it wouldn't appear that she is withholding his child. The night he was escorted out, he apparently went to a hotel, told his boss he had to work remotely, where the hell was that option before, and then moved back home to his mother. Kate has reached out to him multiple times to schedule parenting time and only found out last week that he wasn't in the state. She finally called his mom to see if she wanted to come and see her grandchild for Thanksgiving and learned that he had been there the entire time. In any event, they finally made a parenting schedule and, at her attorney's suggestion, agreed that he could have the first holiday since the separation. He was supposed to come down on Wednesday and pick up their daughter for a few days so she could spend time with his side of the family. So we planned a Friendsgiving to keep Kate's spirits up since her little one would be away for the first time. He never showed. Thursday morning, still no Bert. Kate was worried since he was supposed to drive down, so she called his mom again. Bert was fine, but he didn't feel up to dealing with this. Yup, heard it myself with my own 2 ears. Kiddo was thankfully still asleep, so she didn't witness her mom having a complete and utter meltdown. Kate didn't have the greatest childhood herself, and knowing her piece of crap husband was completely indifferent to his daughter was just too much. She was sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe and then started to have contractions. At that point, her sister and I started panicking. Had we been thinking clearly, we probably would have remembered that she had Braxton Hicks with both pregnancies and calmly assessed the situation after she'd calmed down. Instead, I panic dialed her OB, and we rushed her to the hospital. She's fine, the baby is fine, and kiddo has now had more screen time and junk food in 2 days than her mother has allowed her in her entire life, because I am not a great babysitter. Kate will be in the hospital for a few more days, as her OB is concerned about her stress levels. Her sister's husband called Bert, but so far, he has not made any attempts to do something useful, like, I don't know, take care of his own child? So I guess there won't be a fight over custody? A crappy update, but it's been a crappy weekend. If anyone knows how to cheer up a little girl who's missing her parents in a way that doesn't involve McDonald's and Bluey, please let me know.